Hey guys, so today here we have war number 6. This is where we're against xk9. I have 6 fights, but a couple of scary ones, so yeah, let's get right into this. First off, we have a Valkyrie. This is a nothing fight. Valkyrie is a very weak defender, so I honestly don't know why she's placed on defense at all. But yeah. We're just going to L3 into an L2, and there's a bunch of Mystic Dispersion here, so it's going to be very quick. But yeah, pretty easy fight overall. Definitely not one that, really does much of anything as a defense placement. But yeah, we get our L2 here, and fight's just over like that. Yeah, very easy fight. Next up, we have a Wong and a Mojo, an intercept. We're just going to turn off decks, and those fights will be over rather quickly. Yeah, you want to intercept before your L3, and then get off an L2, and yeah, they're gonna, not be the quickest of fights. I think I misspoke with relatively quickly, but yeah, they're not the quickest of fights or anything, but, it's very safe. And yeah, definitely not particularly dangerous or scary fights, especially if you have decks off. If you don't have decks off, they can get a little bit scary, but, still just not particularly bad, regardless. And yeah, just swapping masteries here, of course. Super slow process, but it is what it is. And yeah, we're going to this Wong and this Mojo on Path 5, Section 2. Yeah. Yeah, for Wong, you want to do heavies when he's at 90 charges, and for Mojo, you want to fail as many of his prompts as always. Of course, that's a standard play for both of these defenders. There's some unstoppable stuff to worry about with Wong as well. Doesn't come into play in this fight at all, but during his blue phase, the light blue of the bright icon, during that phase, he can go unstoppable when you gain a buff, and that really only matters for your L3 with Doom. So again, nothing that you really need to be worried about, but it's just something to keep in mind, pretty much. And yeah, he does not have the blue icon, so we're perfectly safe to throw our L3 at this point. And we have the, what's it called? We have the Intercept Fury up, so we're going to do a bunch of damage here. And yeah, we're going to come pretty close to ending this fight. We want to try and do an intercept with our L2 to get the Fury. I don't end up succeeding here. I believe I do get one on the Mojo fight afterwards, but it's not a big deal. We're still doing a good amount of damage, and we did get an intercept there that lets us pretty much end this fight out. So it's all good. Doom's just doing Doom things. Gonna build to another L2 because Wong decides to be relatively stingy here. And again, we just get the 90 thing naturally with Doom. That's the thing I like about Doom for this. He just very naturally is good at fighting Wong with those easy heavies. And for Mojo, now he's going to start with a bar of power and a Fury. Not a big deal since early on, Mojo's very easy to deal with. And he only gets dangerous later in a fight, so, an ability that starts really early is not too difficult to deal with. But yeah. This fight, we just want to build to our L3. As quickly as we can, while avoiding prompts as much as we can. Here, I did not have Dex on, so I get clipped by that. You don't need Dex on to avoid the L1, but the timing at which I did it, you would have needed Dex on, so yeah. That's what happened there. And yeah, we just want to bait this one more L1, and then we'll be good to go for an intercept, go for our L3, and try our best to just end the fight at that point. Here we get the intercept, Mojo plays in, thankfully. And yeah, at this point, we have basically won the fight. Doom really is a great foolproof counter to just a whole bunch of fights. I've had this fight go south before a couple of times, mostly from having decks on and just, not playing as smart as I could have. Yeah, here we get a just L2 right back from powerbacks, and we get the L2 intercept, so fight's just over at that point. Very nicely. And yeah, next up we have a Sassy on 48s. Here we basically just want to do L3s, do L2s. It's a fairly standard fight, honestly. As much as this seems like something that's really weird, the strategy is really quite simple. It's just Sassy with Doom. And yeah, nothing too scary, but it is just something that, I always want to make sure you're going in as well prepared as you can be. Read pre-fights help a lot here. House of X does not really matter, but we had an extra one, so I will always take the extra help. Yeah. This one ends up being a little bit long because Sassy had pretty bad AI. Not long to the point where it would have been dangerous or anything, but just long to the point where it was kind of a nuisance. But yeah, definitely not the biggest deal in the world, just a little bit annoying to not get great AI. I did take this in off-season once, and it took about 1 minute and 30 seconds. And I probably was overcautious here. I don't really know why I didn't throw my L3 earlier than this. Definitely just a bad decision that also, played into making the fight go longer. But yeah, not a big deal or anything. Just a little bit of a poor decision. And yeah, it happens sometimes. But yeah, here we get our L2. We're doing good damage at this point. Got 2 L2s off. I think we got 2 L2s off. I could be wrong. But yeah, we know one. Not a big deal. We still have 1 invuln charge left, and even if we ate an L3, would not be the end of the world. Sorry for not talking too much during this fight. It's just a standard Doom fight, so I don't have much to say. Yeah. Definitely happy to have Doom back, of course. It makes planning so much easier when you can just do shit like this. Yeah, this was pretty fun to just take some kind of weird Doom fights again. They're fairly easy Doom fights, but they are, on the weirder side. Weirder side to people that aren't using Doom very much, because, if you use Doom a lot, it seems very standard. Yeah. And yeah, now we have a Node 54 read, and we have a spot boss that we have to take. Yeah, for this 54-man guy, we have a PS1, we have a House of X pre-fight, we have power backs, everything to make this fight as easy as possible. Maxed out inequity, maxed out resonate, so it's very safe. And yeah, the goal is to prevent him from throwing L1s. If he throws L2s only, you can get more of these L2s off and just have the fight go a lot quicker. And that is, of course, very nice, because the quicker this fight is over, the less AoE can stack, and the less there's any chance of anything going wrong, any chance of your debuffs falling off, whatever. And when you get those 3 debuffs, you just start throwing L1s, and you're at a very good spot. This fight is a lot easier than I expected it to be. I always get very nervous with Reed, just because the danger of his debuffs falling off in a, very high stress fight always terrifies me, but it's mostly an irrational fear. And yeah, now we have Spot Boss. This was the one that was really terrifying, and for good reason. This fight is the hardest fight on the map right now. It's a very difficult fight with any option. Blade is a lot quicker than Nick Fury, but he doesn't have very much room for error. Nick Fury is a lot more difficult, but it's Nick Fury, so if the fight does go poorly, you still have a chance to recover. We are running Bleed Half Suies for this, and Bleed Half Suies, since the debuff will fall off eventually, it's not going to matter too much with Unsteady Ground or whatever. So it's safe to run Bleed Half and get that extra damage. Here we're getting some ruptures from Spot Smith stuff. Very annoyingly, this is a part of this fight that really sucks, just getting all those ruptures stacked up, and you have to either choose between, stacking up ruptures in this very unfortunate position, or getting cornered, and yeah, it ends up being both. And yeah, we did throw an L1. That was very much a mistake. We don't want to be throwing L1s. And now we're trying to build to an L3. And what the L3 will do is allow me so that if I do get in a bad position, that it won't snowball effect into a position where during second life, that I would just immediately lose my second life right after losing the first. And just trying to get into a good position with having an L3 for when we do go into second life is pretty much the goal here. And yeah, now we're cornered, we're eating combos. Eating combos while we're cornered is really bad, it's just gonna rupture us more. Yeah, we're kind of at a very bad position here. We're eating a whole lot of hits in the combo. He's doing this. Now we're just trying to get an L2 out to push me into second life, so we don't have to, worry about that. Thankfully, it does not kill me. I knew it wouldn't, with where I was at, but it definitely got quite scary, because it just has such a long animation that you can't be invulnerable for the whole thing. Now that we're in second life, we're going to be doing so much damage that we can end the fight out very easily, even seemingly being in a bad position. And yeah, only 3 more combos that we have to do at this point, if even that. Get this rupture on us, not a big deal. I'm just trying to bait this L2, play it slowly. And yeah, we're gonna finish out the fight with a solo, thankfully. And yeah, thank you to my Patreon supporters, Mega, Senor Dunny, and OG Highline. It greatly helps out the channel. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this war video. Another Doom Nick Reed doing their thing.